This is the 4th tutorial in creating our suite dispenser. In this one we're creating the handle using Autodesk Inventor. So we need to open that up, so I've already got that open here. I'm going to New, clicking on the page, making sure we've got the metric template selected. I'm going to Standard MM and we're clicking Create. Just as before, we need to go up to our toolbar and create Standard 2D Sketch. On this one here, we want to use the XZ plane, which is the kind of horizontal plane there, as I've got highlighted at the moment, and we're clicking on that there, and that's bringing us up into our 2D working environment, which is much like a sheet of paper. The first thing we want to do is add a line. So we're going up to the line tool, clicking on that there, and we're clicking on that, hovering over that center point again until it goes green, and we're clicking, and then we're going to drag straight up along that line that's already on the screen, and we're just going to drag and drag and drag until it's near the top, and we're clicking again. We've got a line tool still selected, so we need to press escape there to get rid of that. And that line that we originally drawn, it's quite hard to see because it's over the top of that other line that was already there. But we hover over it, we can see it goes red, and we can click on that there to select it, and then right click, and we're going to move that to a construction line. So this is going to help us when we come to revolve the handle, which is a new command that we've not used yet. So before we get to that though, we need to add a rectangle. So this time we want to use a rectangle, and it's the 2-point rectangle. So make sure that's what you're selecting. Remember, you can click the little drop down rectangle with the arrow below it, select rectangle 2-point, and we want to go down to that middle point again until that goes green, click, and we're going to drag out. Don't worry about what the dimensions are too much. We ideally want it to be 15 out and roughly 20 along. But if it's not got, you can't drag that big a box, just click so it's roughly that size there. So now we're going to use our dimensions tool. So in this one, we're going to select that top line, and we're going to select our bottom line there, and we're going to take that over to the left there, and we're going to create that as a 20mm dimension. So we're typing in 20 there, and click the green tick. That might have disappeared, we might need to zoom out a little bit. Still got the dimension tool selected. We're going to select that bottom line there. So the one that's over the top of the line, hover over it, move your mouse down, click, and type in 15, and you can click the little green tick there. We need to add another little box off the side of there. So we're going up to the rectangle again. It's the 2-point rectangle. I'm going to click on the right hand side of this. We're clicking on it. Then we're going to drag out. So it's roughly a 4mm dimension going up and down, and 5mm coming out. And we're clicking there. Before we add the dimensions to this, we're going to use the trim tool to make this a single enclosed area. So trim tools under modify at the top there. So we're on our toolbar, click on trim, and it kind of gives you a wee explanation of what it's doing now when you hover over that there. Click on trim there, and then we're going to trim away that line there. So we need to click once and then click again, because there are actually 2 lines on top of each other there. Then we can press escape to get rid of the trim tool, and we're going to bring up the dimension tool. So the first dimension we want to add is from the bottom line here until that line there that I've got highlighted in red. So we're clicking there. So that's currently 2.7 for me. But we need that to be 5. So we can type in 5 and press the green tick. That line out here, we want this red line to be 4. So we can click on it, click out, type in 4, press the green tick. And the only line we need to define now is the distance between this line here and this line here. You'll see that that line's still black, meaning it can still move in and out. So we can click on that line, hover over and click on that line there as well. We want this to be 5. We can tick there. And what has happened there is this line here has actually moved out rather than this line here moving in. And that's because that line's actually black too. So what we need to do is we need to use a constraint. So we're going up to constraints. So you can see constraint is written here. We want to go up and have a look at what our constraints do. We go up to the top row constraints. There's one called collinear constraint. And it gives you a wee explanation there that it causes two lines to line up to each other. So when you click on that there, we're going to click on the bottom line, just above where the 15 dimension is there, which is, as you can see, I've got highlighted here. Moving up, I'm going to click on that line there too. And that brings them online, and they've all gone navy, just as we want them there. At this point here, we can click Finish Sketch. So now we need to use the Revolve tool. So we're going up to Revolve, and it automatically selects the area we've just drawn. But you'll notice it's got a little red arrow next to the word axes. So now we need to add an axis. Well, that's what the line was we drew earlier. So hopefully you can see it sticking out at the edge. If not, you'll need to select this line here in your drawing, which is the long 20 line, or the little extra line we added. So we can click on that there, and you'll see it adds a 360-degree revolve. We can click OK, and that'll take us out of that tool. So we've created the handle. Just as before, it's nice to add some color to it. So we're going to go up to default at the very top of the menu screen there. We're going to scroll down. Again, we're going to use yellow pine. You could make this a different wood if you want, but I'm just going to stick with yellow pine for this one. Again, we can now click Save, and then we're going to name this as the handle. We're making sure we're saving this along with our drawer, frame, and stopper in our folder. In this case, I'm using a CAD folder within my OneDrive, and we're clicking Save. And that's our fourth part created.